Hi, my name is CliffNotes P, and welcome to the CliffNotes Project Presents. And today we're sponsored by FIGHT. As you can see here, it is my pleasure to have the opportunity to interview this young lady that I met at an event, Lupus event. This probably took place, I'd say, about a month, no, like 2.5 months ago. Really good event. Was able to support a Lupus ambassador that was interviewed here as well, and provide some services with our photo booth services. But before I continue this interview, please make sure that you like, subscribe, and everything else that makes it great for people to follow content like this. Again, this is sponsored by FIGHT. Before any disease or disability, there is a person. And with that being said, welcome. And could you please introduce yourself so I don't butcher your name?
My name is Shawnta Reid.
All right. Beautiful, beautiful. All right. First of all, I want to thank you, and I do apologize for the little bumps that we had in between time as far as us getting back. But it was great seeing you and meeting you the first time. Very energetic at the event, the Lupus event. Before we start going to the event, let's talk about why we're here. Lupus. Could you please let us know what is lupus?
So lupus is an autoimmune disease in which basically your body attacks itself. So there's different forms of lupus. I have SLE, which is systemic lupus, as well as lupus nephritis. So lupus nephritis attacks the kidneys only. So I have chronic kidney disease. I do have high functioning kidneys, but the doctors are always concerned about my kidneys and making sure I take care of myself. And then systemic lupus, it attacks any organ. It could also attack from basically your hair to your skin. It doesn't discriminate.
Okay.
And your body thinks there's something foreign, and your body's really just attacking itself.
I see. Thank you for that description. No, it sounds as if you're a doctor. But I'm
been doing this for a little while.
I think so. And that was my next question, ladies and gentlemen. She's good. When were you diagnosed?
In 2011.
Okay.
So in June of 2011. I was diagnosed fairly quickly. On average, lupus patients takes about 6 years, 5 to 6 years to be diagnosed with lupus because it mirrors so many other diseases. Me personally, I started seeing symptoms in March of 2011. I started with like a butterfly rash. So that's one of the symbols for lupus as well. So a butterfly rash is basically a rash that's on your face, and it's like on both sides of your nose. So the sides of your nose are like the wings, and then the stem, like the body of the butterfly, is your nose. So it looks like a butterfly rash, and it's referred to as a butterfly rash. So I went to the dermatologist to see what was going on, and she was just like, well, if this topical cream doesn't work that I give you, we'll do a biopsy to see whether or not it's lupus.
Okay.
So that was the first time I ever heard lupus. It's not like now where you have commercials and medications for lupus. It's all over now.
Right.
But I even seen like billboards in the subway. I was like, wow, I wish I had that
right.
when I was getting diagnosed, because I had no idea what it was. But anyways, it eventually went away. I went about my life, so I thought.
Okay.
And I went on vacation in May of 2011. And I just started getting these weird feelings. So like my knee was like bright purple. After a night out with my cousin, I didn't pay it no mind. Went about our business, and then I was having difficulty getting in and out the car, like while I was still in visiting my cousin. So when I got back to Boston, I went to the ER. They diagnosed me with tendinitis.
Okay.
And I was just like, well, you want me to take a week off of work? I just started this job, and I can't.
Right.
And I felt like it was something more. Like tendinitis was just so like simple in my mind compared to what I was feeling.
Right.
Like my whole body was aching. My right arm, I couldn't extend it. I was having difficulties, like literally getting up by myself. So I was just like, this is more than tendinitis. I did take a couple of days off from work, but I went back because I just started. I had no time. And then I also wanted to get like a further diagnosis. So I went to my PCP.
Okay.
I explained all my symptoms. They gave me any and every test you could possibly think of that I didn't even know. I mean, obviously I wouldn't know. I'm not a doctor. It existed. But it was a lot because like I went from like a normal early 20-year-old to someone who needed assistance.
Right.
So that was like a shock within itself. But so we were looking, all the results came back except for one, and it needed to be read by a rheumatologist. So I'm figuring whatever is being read is what I have, because it's the only thing, this process of elimination. So I was searching, it wasn't working. And I just like ultimately gave up. Like it was also, I got to put into perspective, I was young. Right. So like I only knew so much and I only did so much. But luckily, like my mom continued to look. She was able to find a rheumatologist.
Okay.
And he diagnosed me over the phone on June, I think it was like 11th, 2011. It's like, hey, I'm so-and-so, and I just want to let you know that you have lupus. I'm going to send some meds over to your pharmacy, and we can schedule an appointment right now.
And now, just like that.
Just like that.
Wow.
Yeah, and he's like a really older gentleman, and he's kind of like straight to the point. There was no kind of like, I'll explain it when you come into the office more, but you really need to get on these meds because you have an active flare.
Okay.
And so a flare is like when the body is like extremely inflamed.
Okay.
In which, at that point, there wasn't like a pinpointed organ or anything of that nature. It's just my whole body was inflamed. My whole body was in pain.
Okay.
It didn't matter what I did. And this was after I had went to the ER again, and they gave me Percocet, Vicodin, Tylenol. I just threw it up, and I was still in pain.
Wow.
So
how did they administer this medicine that he was referring to? Was it like orally?
Yeah.
Okay.
So one of the main meds that most lupus patients is on is Plaquenil.
Okay.
So that was the first med that he had you take. But the only thing about Plaquenil, it takes about 6 months to actually work.
No.
Yeah. So then they put me on a high dose of steroids.
Okay.
Which I don't know if you know anything about prednisone.
Yeah.
At a high dose, you're eating everything. You're not sleeping. You're gaining weight. You're paranoid. You're like overthinking everything. Mm-hmm. And that was like mentally affected me, like upon diagnosis, because that's like, it was very immediate. The prednisone, like after maybe 4 days, I couldn't sleep.
Okay.
So the first 4 days I was fine. And then that fourth night, it was just like, I'm cleaning the house from top to bottom. I want to organize. I'm trying to plan my whole year out.
Are you still working at that time?
Am I still working? Sorry.
Are you still working? Because I know you.
I am still working.
Okay, all right.
Yeah. So I'm still working. I actually am on intermittent FMLA.
Okay.
So that means like if for some reason I have a flare to the point that I have to be out of work, I don't have to keep submitting paperwork.
Well, that's good. Some jobs some jobs don't even understand or comprehend or have anything set up that way.
Exactly. Yeah. And I know, like, I've met a lot of people through the Lupus Foundation, and they have the struggles with their jobs. Like, I work for the state, so it's a little different. Like, their guidelines, and other people work at nonprofits and things of that nature, and they may have difficulties actually, like, getting the time off in order to get the services that they need.
So if we can go back, you were given this information, but before given the information by the rheumatologist, you're very young, as you mentioned. At that point in time, very impressionable, I'm assuming. Were you thinking like, hey, my friends are looking at me any differently? Or were your friends was there now a stigma attached to you, quote unquote, that you were kind of feeling or seeing?
Oh, I was like getting babied, and I didn't like it.
Yeah.
I was like pretty independent. Like, although I lived at home still, I was pretty independent, like outside of that. And it's just like to go from this like lively person to like this person that just wants to sleep all the time, or is in pain all the time, or I can't do that because I'm exhausted or I don't feel good. Like there was a point where I would just go to work, come home, go to sleep. Like that was my life.
Yeah, it's tough because, and that's why in the beginning of this, my dad, who's a physician, made this quote, and that's kind of what got me going. Creating a platform like this is before any disease or disability, there is a person. We would hate to find out that, mom, dad, uncle, cousin, coworker has this particular disease, and now there's a stigma attached to them. Like, why are we treating them any different? Yeah. And I think this is why, but this is exactly why my brand FIGHT creates this type of collaboration with the CliffNotes Project, is creating this platform so people can understand. Fortunately enough, as you said, if we're looking retrospectively in the past to what we have now, there was no information. Now it's all over the place. Yeah. So I can't even imagine, being that age, having to explain it, maybe even in self-denial. Like, was that something that you were dealing with?
Yeah. So keeping that age in mind, like we were going out, we were drinking, we were staying out all night, and then it just stops.
Yeah.
Like the person that you went out with all the time, like my friends, I'm no longer going out with them.
Yeah.
Because I'm too tired, I'm too exhausted, or I'm in too much pain, or alcohol has inflammatories in it. Like I'm using the wrong word, but it can cause inflammation.
Okay.
So, high consumptions, my body's inflamed.
Yeah.
Like my knees more so, like my hands, things of that nature. So it was just like, for me, my lifestyle was changing.
Yeah.
And it's like, I didn't know myself. Like, I mean, I'm not identifying myself as a partier, but I didn't know myself because the things that I usually did, I couldn't do, or I couldn't do to the extent that I did them prior.
How did that affect you mentally? Any depression or anything that followed?
Oh, yeah. Like, that's why I only went to work and came home and
just
went to bed.
And went to bed.
Yeah.
How did you get out of that funk? Was it more information? The medicine started working? A combination of the two?
It was a combination of the two. The Lupus Foundation of America helped a lot. I think connecting with other individuals who experience the same things that I do. I think at that point, I didn't realize how much it helped me. I think I was like, well, I'm not that sick.
Right.
Like, I can still do X, Y, and Z. Like,
That's still
I don't
the denial.
look sick. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, I was definitely depressed. Like, I didn't know me. I had to learn this new person that I had to become.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it was difficult.
So let's talk about the Lupus Foundation.
Mm-hmm.
Was that mom that found that for you?
Yeah, mom found it for me.
Salute, mom.
Yeah, thank you, mommy. So she found it for me, and then so the Lupus Foundation is broken up into regions. Okay. So we're in the Northeast region, and the person who was in charge of it, Sarah Bentley, she was very like hands-on, personable. She wanted to know the individual. Like we went out to lunch, like. The relationship that I had with her was amazing until this day.
Okay.
Like I went to the summit in May and I saw her. I was so excited to see her. She was asking me about my mom and my husband. So that was so nice that she remembered me in general. But the fact that she was just like that connected to the organization and what it stood for. So I think that helped with acknowledging and coming to terms with the fact like you're sick.
Right.
But how are you going to move on from that?
Right.
Like, you're a person who has lupus. Like, you're not just a lupus patient.
Right.
So, I think I had to figure out what that meant to me.
When would you say you kind of figured that out? Like, how old were you, would you say? Would it take a year or two, or?
Maybe a year.
Yeah.
Maybe like 9 months to a year.
Yeah.
Because I feel like my friends helped a lot because they started doing their own research.
Nice.
To see what it meant. Because I wasn't talking about it because it was like I was embarrassed. I didn't understand it either. And I couldn't really explain it to them because, I mean,
right.
Everyone had their own things going on. So.
And that's the ego, unfortunately, yeah. Right? I think when we look at one of the rules, and I forgot to give you the rules, is when you come into the CliffNotes Project studios, is we got to check our egos at the door. Mm-hmm. In order to do that, once we do check our egos at the door, it allows us to be vulnerable and to share notes.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you for that. So let's move a little bit forward. Let's say it's a year. Mm-hmm. You figure out yourself. You're starting to get the information. Mommy gets you all the info. You're starting to apply. Is the medicine now kicking in? Are you trying different iterations of medication?
So that was really the only meds I was on were the Plaquenil and the steroids. So they started lowering the dose of steroids.
Okay.
Once so I went in for testing a lot, like blood work, urines. And
what's the frequency of that? 3 months, 6?
So back then, when I was still like coming off the flare, I went every month.
Okay.
Currently, I go every 2 months, but it's not required. It's usually every like 3 to 6 months because it's as often as you really see your doctor, unless like from my rheumatologist, she is basically like, if you don't feel well, just request the test and we'll send it to you and you just go get the test and then we'll review it.
That's awesome. Because
you could not feel good, but your numbers are just dormant.
Got you. Okay.
Which is crazy. That's the other thing. This is why it's called like the cruel mystery, because you can be sick. Your whole body's feeling like it's inflamed. You can go get tested and your numbers are normal.
And everything's normal.
Everything's normal. They're not
so what is the thing that just identifies like, hey, this is lupus? Did they ever explain that?
There was like markers, I guess they go by, but I really don't, to be honest, understand how it worked. Mm-hmm. So it's like so there's certain tests that you take, but the thing is, I don't genetically have it. I had genetic testing done, and I don't have lupus.
Wow.
Which is wild. Right?
That is very wild.
So the cause of lupus, no one knows. It's like a combination of genetics and environmental factors.
I see.
But like, you know, me and my husband were talking about having kids, and we wanted to get our genetic markers done, and I don't carry lupus.
Okay. Well, I can skip this next question because that was my question with you and your husband. Now, which is fine. I think we can even go back a little bit. So when did you meet your husband? How old were you?
I was 30.
Okay.
I was 30. It was like right after my 30th birthday. And, you know, you have these plans for your life. You think 30's so old. And I went into 30 single. And I was just like, what am I doing with my life? Like, am I going to be by myself for the rest of my life? Is someone going to want me with my disease? That's the other thing. Like, dating was trash. Until I met my husband, of course. But it was just like, it was, I don't know. So I met him when I was 30, and we dated for a while, and I think we got married like 2 years after. Okay. Yeah.
So before the marriage, let's explain the dating for those that are probably currently finding out they were diagnosed, or still want to date, still want to just continue, you know, their lives as normal as possible, right? What was that like? You said it was tough. Like, explain that to us.
So like, for me, I wanted to find somebody who was compassionate, that understood, like, I'm not going to be able to do everything with you all the time. I'm going to cancel last minute. Yeah. I'll try to, like, wait to the last minute to try and see if I could feel better, but sometimes it just didn't work. Okay. But with my husband, he has family members who are sick, and being able to see him with them, it made me want to be with him more, because you're showing me, like, how you can be with others when they have their disabilities and they need assistance. Right. And I think the other thing was, when we first started dating, I had a flare. So this was a flare of the lungs. So I had like fluid in my lungs, and it was I think we were dating for like a couple of weeks. And I told him, I was just like, look, I can't do anything right now. And it's not like a flare, you really can't do anything, but with that one, because it was my lungs, I had difficulty breathing. Okay. Like, I was winded very easily. And that's how I knew I was having a flare, is when I couldn't get up 3 stairs without heavy breathing. So I was like, something's wrong. Yeah. And then that's when I went in for testing, and they told me that I had a flare in my lungs. So they put me on another high dose of steroids, and then I started gaining weight. And during that time, we're still dating. So it was just like...
Now, did you have to tell him, hey, you're taking steroids, this might happen?
Yeah, so I told him that, because there's also mood swings. Prednisone.
Okay.
So you get a little crazy.
So we can't attribute that to your monthly friend.
No.
Okay.
No, all right. This is different. It's really? Like I was angry, and it's something you can't even control. Like, I would snap at my supervisor at work and have to go back and apologize. Like, I am so sorry. And I didn't have to tell them, but I wanted to tell them, so they didn't think like,
what's going on?
Like, what's going on? Right. And I wanted them to know this could possibly happen again in like 10 minutes. Right. So I just want you to know what's going on. And unfortunately, my supervisor at the time had a child that was on prednisone. Okay. So he understood the mood swings.
Understood.
But back to dating my husband, I think that having the flare so early in our relationship also kind of
gave you a little test.
Like, sealed the deal. Like... You can get crazy sometimes, but I love you.
Yeah, but you see how important it is, though, for him to have had some sort of experience, knowledge of individuals, and maybe it wasn't specific to lupus, but individuals that might be sick. So his perspectives just on life is different. Yeah. And I hope that this interview here would provide that for anyone willing to even listen. Just watch the program. It might not be specifically to you. And I think it's better than just swiping and just watching, you know, the regular things we watch. We like memes here and there, but I think knowing these type of things is super important. And again, thank you for doing this and being vulnerable. But salute to your husband for, you know, sticking around, right? And then to all those guys that didn't make the cut. Exactly. You know what I'm saying? All right. So do you have any children?
No.
Okay. Is that a plan?
If it's in God's plan.
If it's God's plan. Yeah. Okay. Would you be fearful of that?
Of having a child?
Yeah.
So, no.
Okay.
And a couple reasons. I want a child.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's going to be difficult being that your kidneys are in overdrive when you're pregnant.
Right.
And I have chronic kidney disease. But also, I've heard in research that during pregnancy, your lupus is in remission.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
So because your body's attacking itself, now they think that this baby is foreign, so it won't attack the baby.
That's amazing.
It won't attack yourself.
Wow.
So, yeah.
That's pretty cool. It makes me, now, I wish I had like a scientist here or someone because, so when my wife was pregnant, I think it's called gestational diabetes. And like, I remember one day I was like, what's up with your tooth? And then she was like, what? And then like, it was like eating her gums because of the diabetes. And it was my son who happened to do that. Nice job, CJ. But we took care of her tooth. But it's just amazing to me what women have to kind of go through just to conceive. So I'll ask you this question, and you know, God's plan, if you do conceive, I want you to remember me. But let's say, and I've been asking all my lady friends, if you had to come back, reincarnate, would you remain a female, or come back as a male? We got it good, man. It's just about a fade, and that's it.
No, y'all do. I was getting ready last night to go out. I was like, this is taking too long. I already don't want to go.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I love being a female. Like, I appreciate the simplicity of being a male. But I think, like, we're just bomb. Like, we're bomb. Like, we are amazing queens. And I love that.
I think when God took a rib to make y'all, no disrespect, Lord, but I think he made y'all a little crazy.
And did. But we keep y'all together. We keep the whole household together.
Nah, I'll give you that.
Together.
100%.
And it's like we think about things that y'all don't think about. Like we'll pack for a trip, and it's like, did you bring the floss? Did you bring this? Did you bring that? Like you didn't pack any. What is in that bag?
Yo, that little toiletry bag is crucial. Shout out to my wife on that because God knows I was just like, I packed. She was like, no, I got it.
Everything in the chargers.
Yeah.
Because you can have the iPad with no
chargers.
And kids are gonna go crazy if not.
Yeah,
So.
you're right. See, you already ready. You already got the CliffNotes on that. All right. So now, what is your relationship? Because I know you said that you've gone to a recent conference for a Lupus Foundation. Are you playing any major roles with them?
So I just got back on the Lupus Walk, the Boston Walk Committee.
Okay.
So
what are we doing? What's the date on that?
So that's October 12th, Sunday, October 12th. It's the Sunday before Indigenous Peoples Day. Okay. And it's at Boston Common. I believe it's at 11. I think they're switching the time up, so don't quote me on the time.
Okay.
But the Lupus Foundation website will have the exact time.
Okay.
And I can get that for you.
How far of a walk is it?
1 mile.
That's not bad at all.
It's not.
It's not bad
Lupus
at all.
patients can't walk for long. That's one of my requirements in my
That's awesome.
What you call it? My intermittent FMLA. We can't stand longer than we can, but it's not recommended we stand longer than 30 minutes and things of that nature. So it's a short walk, one loop around Boston Common. Okay. And they have it there every year.
Now, to accommodate individuals, will there be like maybe stop stations or anything, or is anyone like bringing like with maybe on a wagon some chairs if someone's like, hey, I got to sit down for a bit?
So around Boston Common, there's like benches all around. There's no one really, because the walk isn't that long. There's no one really there, but there's where the starting point is. They have like food, beverages, snacks to kind of help you get through the walk. There's bananas, oranges, like kind of like how marathon runners have. Okay. So and it's usually sponsored. I'm not gonna say the names because I don't want to misspeak this this year. But they have stuff like that around the walk. Plus they have like people every so often kind of like cheering you on, checking on you. And there's like plenty of people there that they were like really supportive. Okay. If you see someone slowing down, you just check in with them, make sure they're okay.
No, sounds good. I'm excited. And I would like to be a sponsor of that, let's talk about that, the Ambassador Program, which she was extremely willing to join. And for those that are not familiar with the Ambassador Program, we here at the CliffNotes Project Studios, in combination with FIGHT, come together to provide apparel, photo booth, and coverage of the event, specifically for you guys to continue to push your message outside of just this interview. Again, I'm really excited about the opportunity Do you want to talk about your event that you're throwing?
Sure. I have an event coming up on September 10th. It's going to be at Sorrel and Lime on Blue Hill Ave on September 10th from 6 to 9. It's a fundraiser, but it's also a lupus awareness event. So it was brought to my attention by some of my friends. Like, they know I have lupus, but they really don't know what it means.
Okay.
Like, they don't know what it means to me because I don't look sick. When I do have flares, I kind of like reclude to over there. They don't realize what's going on. They just think I'm busy, I'm tired, or I'll come up with some excuse.
Right.
But recently, I've been having a lot more inflammation in my hands. So there was one time I was going to a baby shower with my friend. I couldn't put my shoes on. Okay. And I was literally on the brink of tears. I'm going to cry now. So she didn't know what to do because she knew, like, I just felt vulnerable. I couldn't help myself in that moment. And she's like, "I'll put on your shoes. It's not that big of a deal." Right. And so she just put on my shoes. And it's just like, you don't realize how much, like, caregivers, friends, or whoever don't realize how much we appreciate you. Like, it's just being that supportive, not making a big deal about it, because I think that would have made it worse. Oh. It's all right. I didn't think I was going to use these today. It's all right. But just being there for me in that moment. And I was fighting through because it was our friend's baby shower, and it's just like I want to be there to support her, but then I don't feel good. It was just like a lot that day. But I say that to say, like, I wanted to make sure that my friends understood what I go through on a regular basis, what I kind of just keep to myself, and then also learn about the disease, and you just maybe taking some information away that, oh, hold on, I know so-and-so mentioned that he or she had X, Y, and Z going on. Maybe they should go get tested. Maybe they might have lupus as well. So that's why I wanted to have this event, to bring that information to individuals, but also to have a fundraiser, which I've done fundraisers in the past, but I never went into detail, one, about my story or about what lupus is, other than an autoimmune disease that affects me.
No, I think that's awesome. And again, I think it speaks volume to when you first were diagnosed in early 20s to where you are currently right now. And this is why, I do this. You checking your ego at the door, being vulnerable, giving us specific details so that others, not just your friends, but others can see that and learn from that. Yeah. So they too can come out of the shadows, and particularly, they don't necessarily have to sit down like you, but maybe there's like, hey, you know what? I need to tell some friends about this, because I think we all need support in some way, shape, or form. And regardless of the cards that we were dealt, either lupus, cancer, MS, autism, whatever, it should not make it doesn't define the person. No. The person, they're still your brother, sister, uncle, coworker, and that's the main purpose of why I'm doing this. So again, thank you so much. If someone wants to donate, is there a website that they can go to? I'll put the link on the bio that people can do that, or should they just come? Is there something that they should bring, or what should they do? How can they support you more?
So there is a website. The Lupus Foundation of America has the Boston Walk, and then under there be TAFE Flare Fighters. That's the name of my team. I'm the team captain. So you can donate there. Also, at the event, there will be QR codes to make donations. We'll do raffles and things of that nature. We'll be selling T-shirts. Nice. Thank you for helping us with that.
Of course.
And I'll send the link because I want to make sure it gets directly to my actual page, so it can go under my team or individual. And you can also add yourself as a walker. Okay. And then walk with us on the 12th. October 12th, yes.
We're going to confirm that regardless. No problem.
Yeah, I'll get all the information confirmed. I don't want to give misinformation.
No worries.
I'm thinking about a lot of dates in my head right now. So.
No, I think it's awesome. My final question to you is, you have this walk coming up. Actually, before the walk, we have your event coming up, and then you have the walk. What, outside of just curing it, what is something that you would like to see happen? Let's break it down within 3 months, 6 months, and a year.
With the Lupus Foundation?
With everything.
With everything?
Total. Yeah.
With me?
Everything.
Everything?
3 months.
God.
Let's say, you know what, in 3 months, we're done with your event, and they're like, hey, there's a new med. Let's try this. For example, I know someone that has MS, and they were taking medication orally. She was brought in. She was asked to try this new infusion. So instead of taking daily, it's once a month, and it's helping her dramatically. Yeah. So something like that.
So in regards to new meds, I will not switch any meds right now, even though there's like now lupus specific meds, just because with me being of childbearing age, they don't want to change anything that they know works for me right now.
Makes sense.
So there's no changes in regards to that, which I do hope to eventually get on Benlysta because I believe it's something similar. It's like, I think it's an injection.
Okay.
But my doctor doesn't want to change anything right now.
Gotcha.
Until God's plan comes into play.
Yes, ma'am.
And what else? In a year?
Yeah.
Well, hopefully I'll be bringing my baby over here to see you.
Yeah, you better. You better. You better.
I'm not naming the baby Cliff, okay?
That's all right.
I can't think of anything else. This is a hard question.
I know.
I feel like I'm in a job interview and it's like,
Dun, dun,
good.
dun.
The worst qualities about yourself. Like, what?
Yeah.
I'm trying to get you to hire me. I do want to do more events. I think going to the summit in May kind of gave me like an uptick. I didn't talk about my story for many years. I think COVID took a toll on us. I mean, having a president tell the world that the one med that helps you, you know, like stay healthy is the med that's going to cure COVID. So everyone's rushing out to go get it.
Right.
And you're just like calling your rheumatologist like, oh my God, am I going to be okay? Like
Right.
it's going to run out. So I think getting more involved in like lupus awareness, fundraising, lupus research, understanding my disease and how it's changing as I get older.
Okay.
I'm getting a lot of like, I can't like control my body temperature most of the time, but it's not menopause, it's not perimenopause, it's just lupus.
Lupus doing that.
So it's just like, you know, that's one of the most noticeable signs, and also like an embarrassing one. You're just sweating when it's cold inside the room.
Got you.
But I want to do more events to bring awareness, and also like to bring awareness in general to individuals that has a disease. And you may not look sick, but people are sick, and you need to be kind and give grace to people, and not assume you know the reason why they're doing the things that they do or not doing. Like, oh, you look tired, you're just lazy.
Right.
No, I actually cannot move.
Right. Especially in this day and age where everyone has an opinion about everything.
Oh my God.
You know, I am guilty of it. I was actually out with some friends late last night, and we had made mention about we were attending a mass, and we noticed that the pastor was kind of just like on their phone. And, you know, a friend of mine, she had, you know, said, hey, they're over here looking at IG or Facebook. And I'm saying, did you ever think that maybe they're taking notes? Come to find out, they were taking notes.
Yeah.
So I think lesson learned for her and anyone that was listening during our conversation, we need to just do less judging, ladies and gentlemen. We need to do less judging, and we just sometimes just need to ask the person a question and hope that they're telling the truth. This was exactly what I wanted for this particular interview. I am very honored to have you be part of Team Fight as an ambassador. As I had mentioned to you, we would love to continue to support you going forward, especially, you know, if that is in God's plans. You're like, hey, I'm going to need some baby onesie fights. Things we could pull that off from you. And then to end this, make it fun. If you had your choice and you had God on the phone, he's like, all right, how many babies you want? How many would you do? Or have, I would say.
At this big old age, I think I'll be okay with 2.
Yeah. 2's a good number. I got one girl, one boy, and I'm done.
Oh, you lucked out.
I got very lucky, very lucky. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is CliffNotes P. These were my notes. These were her notes. And on that note, we're gone. You have a good one.